Go ahead and get started. Who could tell me the day of the week? Mackenzie. Friday, right. Today is Friday.
Fries. Would you like to eat a fry?
No, we're not being silly. Today is Friday. Who could tell me the month? Who could tell me the month? Steven. November. Today is Friday. November. I'm going to try and fit it.
13th.
November. Someone else tell me the number for the day. Josie?
13th.
Right, Friday, November 13th. And then who could tell me the year? Darren, tell me the year.
2020.
2020, right? Good job. Who remembers how to write that in numerical form? I'm going to go to this day. Who could tell me how to write that in numerical form? What's the number for the month? What number is it in the year? Cameron?
11.
Yeah, try to give me the whole date. Go for it. 11? What's the number for the day?
13.
Uh-huh. And then what's the year? 2020, right. So our numerical form is 11/3/2020. Right, good job. Alrighty. Who could tell me, who could raise your hand? Who could raise your hand and tell me do the motion and tell me what the sight word is. So you're going to do the motion, or hand motion, and do the sight word. Who could do this one? Jet, go for it.
Man.
How do we do the motion? M-A-N, man. Are we talking a manly voice, right? Good job. Who could raise their hand and tell me this word and do the motion? Who could tell me this word and do the motion? Aubrey. What's the word? Great. That's right. G-R-E-A-T. Great. Good morning, Aubrey. You just popped in here. Hello. Alrighty. Who could raise their hand and tell me the motion and what this word is? Brock.
Say.
What's the motion?
Say.
Remember, we spell it out.
S-A-Y. Say.
Good job. That's right. It is S-A-Y. Say. Good job. Well, last one. This one's a hard one. Who could do this word? Go for it, Noah.
Sentence. S-E-N-T-E-N-C. Sentence.
Oh, you missed the letter. E. Sentence, right? S-E-N-T-E-N-C-E. Sentence. Great job. Those are tricky. Alrighty, boys and girls, guess where we have to go? We have to go to Letterland. How are you going to travel to Letterland? Let me get some ideas. How are you guys going to travel to Letterland? Oh, I'm looking for hands that are going up. Amina, how are you going to travel to Letterland? You're muted. You're going to skip. She's going to skip to Letterland. Let me get some other ideas. Steven, how are you going to travel to Letterland?
I'm going to do a motion.
You're going to ride a motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
Love it. Alice, how are you going to travel to Letterland?
Walk backwards.
You're going to walk backwards to Letterland. That's a new one. Mr. James, how are you going to travel to Letterland?
I'm gonna run to Letterland.
You're going to run to Letterland.
Because my papa told me that those test letters where I'm in high school? My papa calls me one of those. I can run faster than a motorcycle.
Cool.
Always.
Jack, how are you going to travel to Letterland?
I'm going to box car.
You're going to box? Josie, how are you going to travel to Letterland?
I'm gonna walk.
You're going to walk to Letterland? All right, I'm going to do two more. Abik, how are you going to travel to Letterland?
Walk up the stairs.
Ooh, you're going to walk up the stairs? Okay. And Danica, how are you going to travel to Letterland? You're muted.
I'm gonna jump.
You're going to jump. Guess what? That's how I was going to travel to Letterland. I was going to jump to Letterland too. Alrighty. Are we ready? I'm hopping to Letterland. What? Didn't play. Make sure you're muted.
Let's all go to Letterland. Let's all fly to Letterland. Let's all jump to Letterland. And we'll play with our friends. Let's all ride to Letterland. Let's all hop to Letterland. Let's all try to Letterland. And we'll play with our friends. And we'll play with our friends. See there?
Whoop. Not again. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to review some of our phonics rules that we've been talking about this week. What phonics rules have we been talking about this week? What are those two letters called that come at the end? Steven? Unmute yourself, baby.
ST.
That is one. What are those called, though? What are they called? Aubrey?
Like when they're blending together? Blends.
They're called final blends because they come at the end. That's right. So they're called final blends. So, on Monday, we talked about ND, right? Who could give me a couple words that end with ND? Vita. Unmute yourself.
Mend.
Say it again.
Mend.
Mend.
No, mend.
Mend. Not a word. Mend is a word though. Can I take mend?
Yes.
Okay. Mend. Mend means like to repair. Mend. Or to fix. Who can give me another word? Brock. Broccoli.
Bend.
Bend. B-e-n-d. Remember, we don't sound those out as separate letters. B-e-n-d. We do b-e-n-d and push them together. What else? Jet.
Hand.
Hand, right. Huh. and, hand. Right, exactly. Bend, bend, and hand. Alrighty, remember this is just review. Who can give me some words that end with nt? That end with nt. Darren. So that's end. Oh, like a creepy crawly? An ant, like a fire ant or a black ant, a carpenter ant. Right. Ant. Ant. Good. What else? What else? Acacia. Say it again. Plant. Good one. Look, she has an L blend in there. Ant. Ant. Plant. Good. Who could give me another word? William, who's been waiting so patiently. Hint. Good one. Hint. Good job. So we have ant, ant, plant, and hint. Okay. Last set for review. We did these yesterday. Okay. We did these yesterday. This is the ending. Who can give me a word that ends with Amina. Okay, you gotta mute yourself, baby girl. Okay, fist is a word, fist, but fit would be f-it, F-I-T. So fist is one, f-it, f-it. Good. Who could give me another one? Mackenzie.
Blast.
Blast. Ooh, good. She got an L blend in there too. Blast. Blast. Good. Who could give me another one? George. Georgie.
Tent.
Okay, tent is t-e-nt. For the last round? That's okay. Give me an ST word.
Fast.
Fast. Good one. Fast. 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 So we have fist, blast, and fast. Alrighty, we have a new one today. Our new one today is when Sammy Snake and Kicking King come together and they make a sound. Remember, if I can't call on you, that's because I have like 30 kids, okay? So I got to make sure that I go around the screen and get to other kiddos, okay? So, when SK comes together, it's at the end, okay? I'm going to try and write smaller. Who can give me a word that ends with sk? Alice. Unmute yourself, girl. Were you raising your hand? Alice, were you raising your hand? Okay. Someone else. James. Yep, these are new. We're learning these right now today. Who can think of a word that ends with SK?
I was here yesterday when we were at the other one.
But you still should have, yeah, but you still should have watched my video yesterday where we reviewed it and went over it.
I know, but the internet was going crazy, so I couldn't get it on.
Okay,
That's what was happening.
watch it today then, okay? All right, who could give me an SK word? Zoe, haven't heard from you, girly.
This,
Ooh, good one. A disc. D-isk. Disc. Right? D-isk. Disc. Who can give me another word that ends with sk? Sk. Jack. You're muted, I think.
miss,
Okay, that's m-ist. Mist. We're working with k. Okay, so we're working with SK. So sk. We have to wear these outside now everywhere because of the coronavirus.
mask,
Cameron.
mask,
A mask. Great. Ask. Mask. Ask. Mask. Right? Good job. What else? Give me another sk word. William. Who is that down there? Ask. Right, exactly. Ask. Ask. Good one. Who can give me another one? Borden, you got another one? I just saw you pop on there, love. Go ahead and unmute yourself and tell me. Unmute yourself, buddy. I wish I could do it, but I can't. I'll come back to you, Borden, okay? Let's see. Campbell.
flask,
Flask, right? Like a flask that you do chemistry in. Good. Well, you mix chemicals in. Flask. Flask. Good one. I'm going to go to another page. We're going to build some more. You sit in these at a school, and you put all your supplies in them. And you can write on them. Mackenzie.
desk.
A desk. Right.
Yeah, that's my word too.
Desk. Oh, great minds think alike.
That was
Both your brains were thinking of the same thing. Great minds think alike. All right, who could give me another word? Another word. Josie.
sky,
That does have SK, but that's at the beginning. We want SK at the end to make that sk at the end. But I like the way your brain was working. A beak.
pesk,
Say it again.
pesk,
Pesk. I don't think pesk is a word.
yeah. Are you being a pesk?
That's a pest. That's p-est. Pest. That's not. So, like, you can be pesky. Yeah, but I don't think pesk is just a word. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, not coming up. Not a word. Okay, the power of Google.
I'll look it up.
All right, next one. Any others? Any others?
I have one.
Okay, Steven, what is your word?
Task.
Task. Good one.
I'm running
Yep, or a seesaw task, or a chores a task, something like that. Anyone else? Zoe. Rest? No. Rest? What? Forden, do you got one? Bask. Like you bask in the sun, right? Bask. All right, I'm going to go back. Let's ninja chop out the word mask. Are you ready? I need everyone to get your ninja chopping hands ready. Ask. Mask. Good job. Most of you did that one. Let's ninja chop out the word flask. Are you ready?
Yes.
Ask. Flask. Good job, man. You guys are on it. Let's go to the next page. Let's do desk. We're going to tap out the word desk. Are you ready?
Yes.
Desk. Good job. And let's tap out the word task. Ready? Ask. Task. Good job. Okay. Who could tell me what we've been talking about in reading this week? What have we been learning about in reading this week? What have we been learning about in reading this week? Josie. Was your hand up? Josie, go ahead. So that's what we did yesterday, right? We retold the story so that we would know what the story was about. But what we're talking about, so remember Monday and Tuesday we talked about the 3 little pigs, and we compared and contrast the 3 little pigs and the true story of the 3 little pigs. You might have read different stories in your class, and that's okay. I can compare and contrast the adventures or experiences of characters in stories. Right. So, we are talking about today a different version of the Little Red Riding Hood. So, remember, Little Red Riding Hood, she went off in the woods to help her grandmother, right? She was bringing her bread and cheese. She, her mom told her not to go off the path, right, to stay on the path. She talked to the big bad wolf. The big bad wolf told her to pick some flowers. She went and picked some flowers. The big bad wolf went and ate the grandmother. Then Little Red came over, and then he ate Little Red, and then the huntsman cut him out of his belly, cut them out of their belly, and they lived happily ever after, right? So that's the Little Red Riding Hood we read yesterday. Today, our story is, honestly, Red Riding Hood was rotten. The story of Little Red Riding Hood as told by the wolf. So remember on Tuesday we read the 3 little pigs as told by the wolf. This is Little Red Riding Hood as told by the wolf.
So this story is by Trisha Peace Jaskin and illustrated by Gerald, that's a hard name,
Guerlace. So this is our story. I need everyone to be muted, please. Chomp, chomp. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just finishing my lunch. My name's Wolf, Big Bad Wolf. You may have heard the story of Little Red Riding Hood about a girl and her granny. Seems everyone has. My tale is different. Did I say tail? Oh, I meant tail. Look how he spelled the word tail. He spelled it like his tail, like on his body, compared to like his tail that wags, compared to the tail of the story. Once upon a time, I ran out of food, completely. The cupboards were bare, the freezer too, and I'd eaten every last vegetable and fruit in the garden, every one. Other wolves might have lunched on little forest critters, chipmunks, bunnies, squirrels, but I'm a vegetarian. That's right. I don't eat meat. Well, I try not to. I love apples. Honeycrisp, Pink Lady, Golden Delicious, any kind really. But sadly, it was a long time until apple harvest.
Question, how is this wolf different from the wolf in Little Red Riding Hood? Who could tell me? Zoe?
He's vegetarian.
He's a vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat. And he really likes apples. I haven't eaten in weeks. My stomach growled and howled. It moaned and groaned. It even roared. Then my nose took over. Sniff, sniff. I took a whiff. What was it? A girl. Sniff, sniff. I took a whiff. What was it? Cake. Butter. In this forest? I had to investigate. And there she was, Little Red Riding Hood. She looked as plump and juicy as a big sweet apple. Little Red waved her cape. Isn't it pretty? She said. Yeah, I said. Aren't I pretty? She said. Was she admiring herself in that puddle? With this cape, she said, I'm even prettier than usual. Boy, someone was sure full of herself. My stomach groaned. Little Red twirled a strand of hair. Mother says the cape looks grand with my skin. My skin shines like pearls. Or the meat of a ripe apple, I thought, licking my chops. Remember, I haven't eaten in weeks. Time to chomp. But then Little Red said, I can't wait until Granny sees how pretty I am today. I'm bringing her cake and butter from my mother. So what is she bringing Granny compared to the other story? Mackenzie? She's bringing cake and butter. What did the other Little Red Riding Hood bring?
Bread and cheese.
Good job, yeah. Mwah, kiss your brain. That's right, bread and cheese. My stomach howled. 2 meals, I thought. Granny for breakfast, Little Red for lunch, and cake and butter for dessert. Where does Granny live, I asked. Little Red pointed. Down there, in the clearing, the brown house. I knew that house, and I had a plan. Let's play a game, I said. Little Red smiled. I'm awesome at games. I bet you are, I said. You can take this path. I'll take that path, and let's see who arrives at Granny's first. I will, she said. I'm the prettiest and the fastest. I bet you are, I said. My stomach moaned. Before it groaned, I ran. No one knows the forest like I do. I chose the shorter path. So do you think this wolf really wants to eat Little Red and the Granny? No, because he's a vegetarian, but he's so hungry. He's starving. Do you think he's going to eat them? Give me a thumbs up yes if you think he's going to eat them, or no, he's not. Oh. I don't think there's much hope for Little Red.
He's gonna get the cake and the cheese. He's gonna get the basket.
So in this story, don't forget, it's cake and butter. So maybe he'll eat the cake and the butter, maybe he won't eat Little Red. Sniff, sniff. I took a whiff. What was it? Apple air freshener? I knocked at the door. Who's there? Called out a voice. Your granddaughter, I squeaked. I brought you cake and butter from Mother. Door's open, Granny said. Granny tugged at her nightcap. Green, she said. Isn't it pretty? Pretty like a Granny Smith apple, I thought. Aren't I pretty? Granny said. You must have heard the saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Well, it's true.
My stomach roared. What's that noise? Granny asked. So, Granny looks like a Granny Smith apple, and Red looks like a Red Delicious apple. So he's just looking at them like they're apples, right? Chomp chomp! I had to eat her. She was no Macintosh apple, but not too bad. I still felt hungry. Little Red knocked at the door. Who's there? I called out, crawling into Granny's bed. Your granddaughter, Little Red said. I brought you cake and butter from Mother. Door's open, I said. Little Red walked in and caught a glimpse of herself in the mirror. Isn't my cake pretty, Granny? She said. Aren't I pretty? I clenched my teeth. Did Little Red in the other story look plump like an apple? No, she didn't look plump like an apple. Granny, Little Red said, what deep, dark eyes I have. I said, the color of apple seeds. Granny, she said, what perfect ears I have. I said, shaped like the sharply cut apple slices. Granny, she said, what pretty lips I have. I said, Red Delicious. Granny, she said, what lovely skin I have. Now, in the other story, who was Little Red talking about when she was saying this kind of stuff? She was saying like, oh, what big eyes you have. Oh, what big ears you have. Who was Little Red talking about in the other story? Who was she talking about? Cameron. She was talking about the wolf. Who's she talking about in this story, this version of the story? Who's she talking about in this version of the story? Campbell? She's talking about herself, right? Chomp chomp! I ate her up. What can I say? Things look different when you're hungry. She was no Fuji or Crispin Apple. In fact, to be honest, she was a little bit rotten. But she was better than nothing. So, plus, I got dessert. The end. Yep, that's how that story ended. 100%, that's how it ended. Alright, before you leave, that was quick. I would like to go over your seesaw activity today. So, just like on Tuesday when you did the 3 Little Pigs activity, you can do, okay, you're going to compare and contrast Little Red Riding Hood and the Little Red Riding Hood who was rotten, okay? You're comparing and contrasting Little Red. So, this first one says, Wolf wants to eat red. So, the wolf wants to eat red. Which one is that? Is that the original Little Red or both? Or rotten Little Red? Who could raise their hand and tell me? Jack? Both. Yeah, he wants to eat her in both because he's hungry and Little Red was rotten. And he wants to eat her here because he just wants to eat her. Little Red likes to visit Granny. Is that in Little Red Riding Hood, both, or she was rotten? She likes to go visit Granny. Mackenzie?
She likes to visit Granny.
In which one? In the original, the rotten one, or both?
Both.
So, okay, we can do that, yeah. She likes to visit Granny. I'm not sure if she totally wanted to go when the Little Red Riding Hood was rotten. I think she was kind of told by her mother. Okay, in which story is the wolf a vegetarian? Which one is the wolf a vegetarian in? Come on, friend, Steven.
The one we just read.
Right, the one where she was rotten. Right, the wolf is a vegetarian. Good job. Granny and Red don't come out of the wolf. They're in the wolf's belly. Which one do they not come out of the wolf? Josie.
That we just read.
The one we just read about her being rotten. Right. This one here. She didn't come out of the wolf. Red looks like an apple. Which one did Red look like a big plump apple? Which one, Zoe? Yes, the one where she was rotten. Right, good job. The wolf eats Granny. Which one or both did the wolf eat Granny? What do you think, Darren? Darren?
Both.
Both. He ate Granny and both. Right, good job. Okay. This one says here, Red Riding Hood visits Granny. Cameron?
Both.
Both, yeah. She goes to visit Granny in both. This one here says Red is nice. She's kind. Which one is Little Red Riding Hood kind? Aubrey.
Both.
Was she really kind in the one we read today? She was kind of full of herself and thought she was the best person ever. The original, right. Good job. Okay. Red is nice, right. Which story does Red take flowers to Granny? Which story? Come on, friends, we're almost done. Campbell.
The first one.
The original, right. The original story is where she takes flowers to her granny. Which story does the wolf eat meat? Like actually eat meat. Which one does he eat meat in? Come on, Steven. The original, right. The wolf eats meat in the original. Alrighty. I think I'm losing most of you. That's okay. My time ran over. That's alright. I'm going to let you do the last 4 on your own today, okay? We have math in only a couple minutes, so if you want to, you can just stay online because we're going to get started in about 10 minutes. But if you need to, use the restroom, get some water, something of that nature. But that is our reading lesson today, okay? So we're going to go into math pretty shortly after this. Sorry my lesson went so long.